This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is sponsored by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, and attend one of our incredible networking events. Be sure to register, and we'll see you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Curtis May of Practical Wealth Solutions. Curtis, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Rich, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Curtis, what is Practical Wealth Solutions?
So, Practical Wealth Solutions, we're a financial services firm. I'm in the financial services industry with a kind of a different approach in that, most people think financial planning is about investments, and people ask me, what should I invest in? I take an opposite tack. I think there is actually more opportunity, and I can be of better service to help my clients kind of minimize their losses than it is trying to pick winning investments. So we help them lower taxes, manage cash flow better, properly insure and protect themselves. And what we call them wealth transfers. A wealth transfer is money moving from your checking account to somebody else's. So we help people find, reduce, or eliminate wealth transfers so that you can get out of debt, have more free cash flow, have fun, okay, and live your best life without usually spending any new money, just getting more efficient with what you already have coming in.
What are some of those tools that you help your clients be on the defense rather than on the offense?
So we have a process called the Money for Life Blueprint. I start with cash flow, right? Cash flow control. We have you're not seeing this. I was going to say in my chart next to me, I have a little map of cash flow. But
It is. It is the most detailed, outstanding chart I've ever seen. So I'm sure there's a website or directly speaking to you, they'll get that and they'll be able to review
Yes.
that with you.
Yeah. So what we do is that, like, what's coming in, like all wealth is a result of free cash flow, right? So if you have money, whether it's personal money or, we had the business meetup. So with business owners, you've got revenue, you've got expenses, but if your outflow is greater than your inflow, I'm stealing this from Myron Golden, then your upkeep becomes your downfall, right? So what we want to do is make sure that you can manage what I call a budget surplus. If you're making 10 grand and you spend 11, you're going out of business, right? And so we have to see that, and most people don't look at their numbers. And if you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, financial literacy is accounting. You've got to know what's coming in and what's going out. So in my process, that's step one. So our first tool is, let's see, in relation to your goals, how you're doing, because the numbers tell a story. And do you know the story your numbers are telling you?
You make a great point about knowing your numbers and being aware where that money is going to. You're writing a book, aren't you?
I'm writing a book. It's 99% done. So it should be out published by the end of June, if not the first week in July. But the book is called Where Did My Money Go? Okay, because it's based on what I hear from people is, Curtis, I'll see business owners and they might be making 30 grand a month, but their first thing they say is, I don't know where my money goes. I see families at $5,000 or $10,000 a month. Same question. I don't know where my money goes. So that's why I've discovered, this is probably like I hate to say it, 40th year in the business. I I find that that is the universal problem, is figuring that out. And so where did my money go? We walk through our principles based planning approach, and it's just a philosophy I've cobbled together over the last many years and people have convinced me I need to put it down on paper. So here we go.
40 years is accumulated wisdom, it's accumulated knowledge and experience. What can people expect? You kind of gave a little bit of an idea of what that blueprint's going to look like from the inception of discovering that illiteracy, that where's my money going? What can people expect when they work with you, Curtis, and Practical Wealth Solutions?
So when they work with me, I have two goals really. Well, one of the goals is, meet with our ideal client, which we can talk about later. But the other one is, every time I meet, is how can I make my ideal client's life better, right? How can I help you become more efficient towards keeping the money that you have. I find people just are like ships without a rudder. They don't really have a it's like a GPS. We actually have a process called financial GPS. Here's where you are, what I call your present position, and where do you want to go? And how do you get from point A to point B? So when I meet with people, it's like, okay, where are you now? And then what are we trying to do? And will what you're doing get you there? Like you're in New York, you're trying to drive to California. Are you going to run out of gas in St. Louis? That's the first thing that we determine so that you can make adjustments. You don't want to get to the end. It's like, oh, well, a lot of people call me like 60. Hey, I want to work on my retirement. Really? You should have started working on it like 15 years ago. And for business owners, we just get up and go to work, right? And a lot of times we're just trying to make payroll and we actually listen to bad advice because no, I shouldn't say bad. Let me be nice. We're listening to advice that tells you to put money in these accounts away from your business. And what I teach is, as business owners, we need access to capital. We need liquidity, use control of our money. So I don't like tying, at least initially, all my money up in mutual funds and qualified plans because, you got to jump through hoops to get your money. And we've got day-to-day operational stuff that we need access. So I'm a second generation business owner. My family, I grew up in the supermarket business. So I understand that. So when I meet with people, we're looking at real stuff, not theory, not projections, not hypothetical, because all that stuff is useless, honestly, until you know what you want and why.
You touched upon the client that is best for you or that you're best for that client. What is that client or who is that client?
So it's really three. So it's families that are I would say upper middle income families. I work a lot with real estate investors, which I'm trying to get them to understand they are business owners and then business owners, right? To that their goal. So people that find me, their goal is not necessarily retirement, it's work optional income. So before, because retirement's an age, we talk to our clients about financial freedom, and that's a capacity, right? Meaning that, financial freedom means you can live like you want to live from the income from your personally invested resources. So the measurable you look at is at outside of my business, because your business is a generator. Well, what assets, because income follows assets, am I building so that if I don't want to do this anymore, I've got enough assets that can take my place?
You identified real estate investors. And as a real estate agent, we look at the landscape and with costs of goods and services and inflation. Now, real estate has always been a hedge against inflation, but you've got to make those acquisitions. You got to procure that real estate and looking at where your client is and saying, you know what, I have my personal residence, but looking out into the future, I want to become a real estate investment. Talk about the structure. Somebody listening to you and saying, Curtis, that makes sense. I'd love to get into real estate investing, but from a financial side, where did my money go and how do I make it work in real estate?
So, one, where's your money go? Two is the other question, the major question that we ask and answer is, where do I store my capital? And so I ask people, if I find it, will you save it? Right. And so where's the best place to store cash? So this is going to be a little bit different, but what I'm known for is we call it the private reserve strategy, but it's out there in the marketplace as infinite banking, becoming your own banker. So our clients, so especially our real estate investment clients, they'll store their excess capital in properly structured dividend paying whole life insurance, right? Properly structured meaning that you can get a lot of money in up front and not have to wait 3 years to get your money. We have clients that literally dump in, 60,000, and then they can turn around within a couple of weeks, and it's got to be structured right. So don't just, you're not buying $1 million worth of coverage and say, oh, I can borrow $1 million. That's not how it works. But they'll store it, and then because you need to save, because you need money for down payments, you need money for turnovers. If you're, and so you need to work. Like for example, I try to teach people risk to work with somebody like you. Like if you get your house, if you buy one house, you can buy two, right? So what's to stop you from uh every year, or after, let's say you get settled, why couldn't you buy one rental a year for the next 10 years, right? And even if you netted $300-400 a month net, well, okay, that would get you closer where you're trying to go than trying to get $2 million in a mutual fund. With leverage, other people's money, and with real cash flow and tax breaks. So, but one of the things I work on is mentally, you got to kind of let go a lot of the stuff that, especially for business owners listening to this, you can't handle your money like employees, right? Because you're playing a different game, right? And you have to decide. One of my favorite movies is The Replacements, and Keanu Reeves. He goes, Gene Hackman said, "Listen, I gave you the ball." He says, "Well, I read Blitz." He says, "Winners always want the ball, right? So if you work with me, you got to want the ball. Like you got to want control of your personal economy. You want to, the people that find me, they know their business makes more money than the S&P. So I just get people to lean into what they already feel is right, and kind of do what the institutions do. Stop doing what the banks tell you to do and do what they do. Is my mantra.
This is just a small taste of your experience, knowledge that you bring to wealth advising, to practical wealth solutions. How do people connect with you, Curtis, if they want to get started on their wealth growth and expansion future?
So I'll give you two ways. One, if you want to just find out first more of what I call the madness that is Curtis, go to the Practical Wealth Show on YouTube, and we've got several years of shows and videos up there where I kind of break into that stuff, alternative investments, that type of stuff, and just saving, cash flow management. And then you can go to practicalwealth.net, our website, and just schedule a financial freedom call. Nothing for sale. We'll just talk together and get to know and see if we're a good fit to work together.
People come to you and you become their mentor, you become their guide.
Guide.
Curtis, who are
Yes.
your mentors? Who guides you?
Whew, how much time we got? So I've got probably three coaches or that I work with now. If I could show you my bookshelf, you know, so I've probably read three books a month, maybe one a week when I'm really into it since college, right? And I graduated or I won't say graduated, finished in 1985. And so I'm a nerd. So I like to, and I like to know how stuff works. And my superpower is I can assimilate information really fast and draw it to you on a napkin. But some of my mentors are from afar. Kiyosaki. There's a gentleman, I heard him on another podcast. His name is Trent Fortner, who's one of my coaches. Don Blanton. I use a framework called the Circle of Wealth. And so that kind of where I first learned, because before I was like Dave Ramsey on steroids, right? I buy term investor difference, max out your 401k. And then after about year 10, I realized, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's what started me down this path, right? And I was like, well, wait, what he's talking about and what I'm doing are different. And then I'm reading his bibliography, and I met a person that worked with him, and we got connected, Kim Butler. And okay, there's more to it than this. And so then probably since 2010, once I really changed my business around, I've been into, what I call principles-based planning for the last 15 years of just really, principles-based, not equity based, not markets based, things that work every time, things that you can control. And I've taught that. So I have a bunch of mentors in that space, and for, whatever I'd like to learn, I'll find somebody that can teach me, somebody that's doing what I want to do. And I'll either get in a room. So, because with business owners, like, you got to get out of your own head. I will pay to be in the right room. And Rich, I always try to be the dumbest, brokest person there, right? So I always want to be in rooms where everybody's more successful than me. You can't learn, you can't expand your own vision.
You said something really important, Curtis, without even saying it specifically using language, is that you continue to learn experience, but you're not married, wedded, you're not stuck in a place to say, this is the way it's always going to be, this is the way we're always going to do it. And in today's world, especially in wealth and finance, it's happening even faster, especially how AI is bringing the technology to the forefront. If you're not learning, you may not be earning. And if you're not willing to expand your knowledge, or as you said, let's get into rooms with Curtis because now he can help me level up because I know he's in other rooms where people are helping him level up. And it's that whole concept of fail faster. If
Yes.
I can get to somebody like you and say, Curtis, I want to go there, I can already utilize the experience of some of the mistakes that you've made, the things that haven't
Which are
worked out
many,
so well.
which are many.
Right? It's
So yeah, I mean that's the critical because what happens is, see, I have a mentor that says R. Nelson Nash, who wrote the book Become Your Own Banker, which is our textbook. He passed away a few years ago, but he used to say, if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. And so I would dare say most people don't really know what's going on. And what I try to do is see, awareness is the first step, right? And then what I try to do is teach what I call the financial physics, right? Because we're taught how to handle money by the institutions, but it's designed to make them money. I want to show things like opportunity costs and the cost of taxes and how money works and saving, difference between what is a real investment, saving versus investment. But it's my premise is that, like you said, it guide is your money, right? And I think 2 + 2 is 4. Like I don't think it's what's the standard deviation of that? It's not that deep. 2 + 2 is 4. And I try to make it that simple because my belief is that you're your best financial advisor, not you know and I'd rather, like with me, it's a conversation. I mean, I'm gonna give you some homework, and I may go coach Curtis on you for I'll get permission. I said, listen, all right, you said something crazy. I'm gonna go coach Curtis on you for about 30 seconds. Is that okay? And then I'll let him have it and try to redirect their thinking. So I have fun with this. I make financial planning fun. So
Coach Curtis. You're out and about in Delco and you have a cheesesteak craving. Where are you going for your cheesesteak?
cheesesteak. See, I'm a Philly guy. See, I would go to you got to give me some Delco places because I would still go to like Jim's on Fourth and South or D'Alessandro's in Roxborough. It's my wife's favorite place, and Patrick Gino's about a toss up. So those are my go-to places if somebody comes to visit me, and so I'm open for since I've been in Delaware County the last 28 years, I think I should find a good cheesesteak place up here. You can give me some suggestions.
Reach out to Jim Pappas of Philadelphia Cheesesteak Adventure. He's been doing that for so many years, and all the places you want to know about and all the cheesesteaks that he's reviewed, you'll find some that you say, you know what, I want to try those. All right, so we talked maybe a little cheesesteak. We're going to Philly. What about your pizza craving? Where are you going in Delco for your pizza, Curtis?
Um, I'm still in search. Like my go-to is, since I'm in Ardmore, is D'Alessandro's Ardmore Pizza, and that's another place. Um, I'm still on a search for. I used to work down at Crash Brothers, very old timers down on South Street, and every day at lunch I would walk down South Street and try like a couple slices at different pizza places. And so I still like a pizza connoisseur. I'm a beer guy, beer connoisseur. So that kind of stuff. So I don't really have one. I'm open for that. So
Taff, taff. Taff, taff. Taff, taff. Taff treats. Get some.
This portion of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to us by Taff Treats. That's TAFF treats.com. They make the most amazing freeze-dried delicacies. Look, if you're looking to promote your business, Check them out. They have a great partnership with helping you promote their business, your business, as well as they're doing soft serve ice cream. So check them out on the website. Check out where you can get some of those amazing treats. And what they want to know, Curtis, is what do you like on your pizza?
Pepperoni.
Straight pepperoni guy.
Pepperoni. Yep. Basic.
You're
Really
out and
boring.
about and you have a convenience store need. Where are you stopping? Sheets, Royal Farms, or Wawa?
Wawa.
Curtis, how do you describe Delco to someone who's never been here or has not heard of Delco before?
Huh. Delco, I think of Wawa. I don't know why, because I'm here. I think of Wawa is like a big deal up here, right? And my kids go to like or went through Haverford High School, so it's all that stuff. But I find it to be uh, a basically friendly place. I think it's a regular, not hoity-toity, with regular people with good family values. So that's how I find it. So we've enjoyed it. I don't worry about. Don't try me because I do lock my door, but I don't have to worry about locking my door. But I'm from Philly, so don't roll up on me because you might get hurt. So, but yeah, that's so but my wife is from here, and so it's like, okay, you got me out of Philly. North Philly, so it's safer out here from where I grew up. So
Yeah, friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them to or take them to have that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
well, now since I've discovered Artillery Brewery. I didn't know that was here, right? So so that's a would be a go-to now. Let's go here. The food was good. I like varieties of draft beer, so that would be just for let's chill and go somewhere casual.
All right, you touched on Wawa, you're hitting Artillery Brewing. It's going to be that gourmet experience of Delco, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes. Yeah, we love to eat. See, yeah, I'm near Narberth. Sometime we'll go there, but that's not Delaware County. So, and I like my spot if I'm going out or someone wants to take me out. Eddie V's, but I think that's in King of Prussia, which is outside of the out of our region.
We need to expand your Delco experience and get you into some of the hot spots in Delco.
You really do. I need it because my wife says you only live here 28 years. Like, yeah, so I got to get around.
Curtis, is there anything else that you want to mention, talk about you, about Practical Wealth Solutions, something we haven't touched on yet that you want listeners to know?
Um, so with one of the things with me is I think that's different is that I grew up in business, like my family owned a supermarket in Philly. And so my dad used to tell me, I heard from the time I was seven or eight, like really young, you never was basically, boy, you'll never make any money work for somebody else. Right. So I never got that go to school, get your education, get a good job talk. I thought you majored in business to go into business. And then I transferred from a school. I played basketball in college. That's my favorite pastime. I'm going downhill now as I'm getting older, but you still have delusions of grandeur. But I realized the NBA was not looking for 5'11" shooting guards. And that's how I got into financial services, which in college, my junior year, which eventually became, Primerica, not Primerica. I used to work with them, but Practical Wealth Solutions. And I just, one of the reasons for the show is that I'm hearing all this stuff, but I'm not hearing anyone else talk about this stuff. So I wanted to, be the person that could, meet and have interesting conversations like this, but around, I had a great talk last week on a guy talking about asset protection trust from Wyoming Asset Protection Trust. And I could now have a long form interview where people could go there and learn some stuff. We had a great conversation with a tax planner yesterday, as a matter of fact. So I, being the nerd that I am, it's like, okay, I like talking about this. I have three favorite conversations: money, marketing, and wellness. And there's like a three-way tie, okay, between the things I like to talk about.
Well, Curtis, this is like you and I could talk all day. and I appreciate your perspective and what you bring to the conversation of wealth. Thank you for being a friend of the What's Happening Delco podcast. Thanks for all that you do to help bring enlightenment, to bring knowledge and power for us in the Delco community. We look forward to seeing you out and about. Listen to Curtis's podcast. Check him out on the YouTube channel. For those listening again, what are those connection points, Curtis?
Pratt on YouTube, the Practical Wealth Show. Matter of fact, you search that, I'll come up on audio podcasts also. And then our website is practicalwealth.net. And then there you can kind of see what I'm up to, schedule a clarity call, and or just kind of watch some of our resources, interviews that we've done. And check it out. There's a video on there where it's like, get to know Curtis. If you email me, I'll send you that. So you can I've tried to condense some of the madness that is Curtis into a little web page, instead of going through 5 years of videos. But feel free to do that too. So,
Curtis, thanks again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
The Taft Traits jingle was written, directed, and recorded by Vincent James of Keep Music Alive. Visit keepmusicalive.org to check out their mission, their events, and how you can get involved. Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.